welcome to the big story on Daybreak Live, where we go beyond the headlines and dig deep into issues that shape our society. I'm Samson Balogun, and today we turn our attention to a critical development within Nigeria's security architecture. A loud cry from those who once wore the uniform with pride. In what many described as a long overdue outcry, retired police to the street as conversations around police reforms continue to echo across the nation. This protest raises fundamental questions. Why are those who served the nation in uniform being left behind? What reforms are urgently needed to restore dignity to the Nigerian police force or the Nigeria police, both for active officers and those in retirement? And what role does government accountability play in reshaping law enforcement in Nigeria? Today, we explore this developing story with experts, voices from force and advocates for justice and reform. Good morning once again. Welcome to the big story. Samson Balogun is my name. I won't be doing this alone. And of course, I have a security expert, someone that knows so much about security architecture in Nigeria. Dr. Kunle Okwala is here with me in the studio. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigerians.
There's a lot to unpack on this show.
Yeah.
There are men and women who serve Nigeria with dignity.
Yeah.
They have paid their dues. They are retired, but they are suffering. What's the problem?
There are a lot of issues with Nigerian police. You know, it's so pathetic that having put 35 years into active service, you know, in a job that is so security intense, you know, and at the end of the day, there's no benefits. Imagine one of the people that went for the protest, as he said, he retired as assistant ASP. Superintendent of police, you know, and after retirement, he got his pension gratuity 2 years after retirement, and that's 2.2 million naira.
That's all for 35 years.
For 35 years.
And in the Nigerian economy, that is this bad.
Afterwards, he gets 30,000 naira every month for pension. You know, that is absurd. It's not encouraging, you know, and probably the reason why serving officers wants to do the best they could, you know, to
amass wealth while still in
service, because then after they are gone, they are not important again. And there are so many entities that are responsible for this. Some from the part of the government, from the part of the people, and from the part of the police themselves. So it's like an hydra head. There are so many reasons for this. But one thing that is sure is that in Nigeria, you are important when you are in service, and when you are gone, nobody reckons with you again. And that is not right.
All right. How significant is this protest by retired police officers, and what message does it send about the current state of policing in the country? Yeah. And not forgetting that this protest was actually led by someone who belongs in the opposition, Omoyele Sowore, who is an activist also.
You will see from the agenda of the protest that they are not actually fighting for
the people,
for
the retired police officers. Are they truly fighting for them?
Yes, they are.
Or they saw an opportunity, a lacuna to plug into to fight the sitting government.
We can't rule out political, input into this. But the truth is that, you know, the protest is not fighting for the retired officers alone, but for serving officers. You know, there is a pension scheme that they believe is discriminatory. You know, that's a contribution pension scheme, wherein when you are in service, you pay
certain
percentage,
amounts, the government pays the other
certain
part.
amounts, and at the end of the day, they trade with your money, make a lot of gains, and when you retired, they give you stipends, you know. And it is discriminatory in the sense that the senior officers are not part of this. It's only the junior officers. So why should it be? You know, and the senior officers that are not part of this, when they retired, of course, they have their way, you know, they get better pensions and things like that. But much more than that, they are also fighting for the serving police officers. The condition of service of police officers in Nigeria is absurd. There is nowhere in the world wherein, you know, somebody will work as a police officer for 10 straight hours, 12 straight hours, even more. All right. Well, each time I move out of my place, all right, at that Akpata Junction, you see the same face, the traffic wardens.
From morning till evening.
You know, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., they are there. When you are coming 7 in the night,
they're still there.
They're still there. They are looking tired, wearied, and tattered, and you wonder why they collect 20 naira, 50 naira. You know, the condition of service is absurd. You look at Nigerian police officers and compare them to, you know, police officers from other nations like, you know, Western world, and you wonder what is happening to us. The way they are dressed, you know. And because if you want to look good as a police officer, you have to sew your own uniform. That is also a problem.
I was coming to that. There are insinuations in town that police officers pay for their own uniforms, buy their desert boots, buy their shoes on their own.
Oh yes,
the government does not have any contribution in all of this.
They have
all on the meager allowances they get from the government.
They have a contribution, you know, but like you said, it's mega, it's so small. As a police officer, you know, for uniform allowance per year, is between 10 and 25,000 naira per year, 1 year. And in some other nations, every 1 year, you know, you are given fresh uniforms, you know, from head to toe. So if you want to look good as an officer, you have to sew your uniform. And that is also a security threat, because they give uniforms to fashion designers and tailors to sew for them. And if they can sew for officers, they can sew for criminals as well. How many times have you seen people in uniform put on roadblocks on highways and discover that they're kidnappers? You know, because it is it's easy, and there are no secret codes. Every uniform of, you know, officers in Western world, there are codes. There are hidden codes there that cannot be replicated. You don't have it here. So it's so easy to use the uniform for criminalities. These are some of the issues that the officers are battling with. And so they need a voice. And you know, it's not easy for serving officers to protest. You know, it's not easy. Everybody goes on holiday, they don't go on holiday. You know, they are always there. So sometimes when I visit some stations and I see the condition of service, I wonder how they are even performing. I don't know if this has been upgraded, but from my last check, you know, the allocation from the federal government of fuel per station, any station in Nigeria, is 1 liter of fuel per day, per station. And here you have 3, 4, 5, you know, different people calling from different places for police intervention. How do you want them to perform? If they want to go on operations, they have to count bullets for them, 4 or 5 per person, and you have to account for it when you come back, and you are asked to go and face criminals that are carrying you know, every weapons. So these are,
you don't care about the number of bullets they fire.
These are conditions that are not palatable, and so it's a welcome development that some people are actually, you know, crying, talking on their behalf. And we hope that the government will listen to them.
Dr. Kunle Okola, have you seen, you are well traveled.
Yeah.
You have been around Ibadan.
Yeah.
You have been to Port Harcourt. You have been to Lagos.
Yeah.
Have you seen malnourished police officers on the road?
So many of them.
Tattered uniforms.
So many of them. There was a particular time I was coming down from the from the UK, and we were stopped at the roadblock. If I actually told the driver didn't want to start. I said stop. They my police officer, because the way they were dressed. He just puts on the police top, the trouser is different, and a bedroom slippers, carrying a gun.
AK-47.
AK-47. And about 2 of them, so they asked us to park, and they were drunk. Both of them were drunk. I just told the driver, whatever they want, please give them. Don't argue. Your papers, this is it. Your Oga, give us something. Give him something. Let him go. Because a police officer under this condition can do anything.
An angry officer is a deadly officer.
And if they kill you, God forbid, the best they can do is to...
Unknown policeman.
Yes. That is just it. Or they dismiss them. All right. How many people have been killed by unknown policemen in Nigeria? You know, so they are not well catered for. Their welfareism is nothing to write home about. To be sincere, you need to see the salaries. Yesterday I was checking the salaries. The IGP of Nigeria gets about 1.6 million every month. Every month, 1.6.
Someone earns less than 200,000.
Yes, the corporal gets 40,000 naira for 1 month.
40,000 naira.
40,000 naira for 1 month, even though the government is trying to upgrade on it. I mean, these are even a secondary school students, you know, that just finished.
Cannot survive on 40,000.
Cannot survive on 40,000 naira. And you want a man that, with the threats and everything, to get 40,000 naira a month.
You want service delivery. You want dedication to service. You want integrity. Over 40,000 naira in a month.
Have you visited their so-called barracks? You know,
I was about to talk about that. There's one close to us. When you look at the situation and the condition of living, you will feel sorry for an average police officer.
Nobody wants to live in such a place, and they don't have a choice, because what house can you rent 40,000 naira a month? So they have no choice. They just have to stay there. The place is not habitable. Each time I visit, there was a time I was doing a private study on the barracks of police. I wept with the condition of service. You need to see their toilet, see their bedroom. It's horrible. It's terrible. You know, nobody cares about that. And sometimes when this central policing that we're practicing, that is not working until we go back to, community or state policing. Central policing is not working. You are trained, maybe you grew up in Kano, you are trained in Jos, and you are posted to Ibadan. This is your first time of coming in.
Different terrain entirely.
When they are coming, there is no accommodation. There is nothing. Just find your feet. Most of them, especially the senior officers, most of them end up sleeping in their offices, if they have an office at the police station, for months before they could get an accommodation. You know, senior officers staying in their office, living there, because they don't have anybody here. They're not using to. They can't. They need like a year before they can understand the terrain. Some of them don't understand the language, and you post them to a place like this. How do they function? They cannot function.
Dr. Kunle Okola, what is the role of the Police Service Commission?
The Police Service Commission is supposed to be.
Are they even functional?
I won't say they are functional. The role of the Police Service Commission is to police the police. All right. When an inherent police has an issue, all right, because that is the body, that civilian body of the police. When a serving police officer has an issue, they refer to the Police Service Commission. But at the end of the day, it is still the service police that will interrogate and investigate the matter, and thereafter, make decision given to Police Service Commission. So they are just there like a figurehead. They are not functioning. They are supposed to cater for the welfare of the police. They themselves, they are not well catered for.
Let's go back in history. We have had senior police officers who have occupied that position before as the chairman Police Service Commission. Yeah. Eventually, they were found wanting of corruption, one way or the other. Let's remember Tafa Balogun, for example. At the point, his house was broken into by the FCC, and monies were found in his building, which actually, in the long run, belonged to Police Service Commission. Yeah. If people who retired as police officers are witch-hunting police officers and now they do not care about the welfareism of police officers, then who will do that?
The issue of corruption, it's deeply immersed, not just in the police community in Nigeria, but in every other parastatus. But it's so obvious, you know, with the police, department, because, like we said, their condition of service is so terrible. And so, when you come in as a junior officer, you grow up with that mentality that I have to get what I need in order to survive. And so you see the junior officers rise up with that mind. And so when they get to the senior officers cadet, they still continue with that, you know. So what I think we need is a total refurbishment of the police force in Nigeria.
With the same set of officers we currently have.
We are not going to borrow officers. There is a way you can...
What has to change?
A lot of things has to change. You see, there was a time I was involved in some training, you know, although I left because of the mess that was going on, you know, right from recruiting. That's where the problem lies. There are people that are not passionate about.
They have no business becoming police officers.
They have no
but
business.
They are there.
But because the father is a police officer or because the father is a politician, you know, they just give them notes.
There are insinuations that at one point or the other, some Nigerians find themselves becoming police officers just because they could not secure employment in other places.
Even the recruitment of the police officers in Nigeria, the government must do something about that. There are times that, you know, for the assistant superior of police cadets that are trained in JOS, there are times that during the passing out parade, faces that were not part of the training for 1 year will just show up and they will pass out because they are sons of, you know, big individuals in Nigeria. And these are people that were never ever trained. They don't even know.
They become officers anything. Without basic training.
Without basic training. They are just there. And
I was about to ask you, is 6 months enough to train a police officer?
6 months is never enough. 6 months is never ever enough. Oh, you know, it's not even enough to tell them, to teach them about the constitutions and the institutions and rights of policing in Nigeria. 6 months is not enough. 1 year is not enough. But that is what we have in Nigeria.
Dr. Kunle Okola, you have been to the police academy.
Yeah.
You've seen the standard of living there.
Yeah.
You've seen this training standard.
Yeah.
Compared to the Western world,
yeah.
the developed countries. What contrasting difference do we have?
There are so many differences. Number one, the standard of the training, they are well below par. And that is because, number one, corruption. Okay, the money that the government allocated for the training, you know, some people are, you know, getting into their purses. And so they leave a little for the training. Okay, the people the training are eager to be trained. Nigerians officers, they are very intelligent. I say this because when they move to places like Israel or UK, you know, and sometimes US for, you know, corporate training with other police from other nations, you see Nigerian police coming up on top, and that tells you that the problem is not with the trainees. The problem is with the condition of the training. So our training system is very, very bad. We don't even have retraining in Nigeria. It should be training and retraining and retraining, you know, but we don't have that.
It is just training in Nigeria.
Once you are trained once, and that is the end, you know. And you see officers staying on the same level for 8 years, 10 years. I saw someone, he said he's been a sergeant for 12 years.
No promotion.
And it's supposed to be 3 years promotion. And so some of them have to do terrible things, you know, in order to get the senior officers to notice them, you know, like just picking up people for no reasons and, you know, telling the institution that they did some terrible things. Go to Agodi, you see so many inmates there
Innocent
that they don't even they are not aware of what happened to them, and they're just there just because somebody wanted a promotion, recognition. 3 years on paper you should get, promoted from one level to another, and this somebody staying for 12 years.
Some said it is even expensive to go on courses. At least that puts you in the right place to be promoted.
You have to lobby yourself to be part of the people that will go for training, even to move from one station to another. There are insinuations that officers have to forfeit their 3 months, 6 months salary, to whoever is in charge of a transfer before they can be moved from one within the same state, from one place to another. These are some of the things that are going on in the police division that has to be looked into.
Okay, now still talking about the Nigerian police and the current situation, and the standard of a service we currently have in the Nigerian police, which compared to other countries, developed countries, if I may put it that way, is there's a contrasting difference, and that borders an average Nigerian. That when we will get to that place where we can actually trust police officers to safeguard lives and properties, because an angry police officer is a deadly police officer, as earlier said. Now, we have had several protests in the country before. Ranging from one institution to the other, and we had the NSAS protest, which was hijacked in the long run, and I never really saw the real change people actually clamored for. Now, with Omoyele Sowore leading this protest, is there ever going to be a change? Would an average police officers in the country get the kind of lifestyle they deserve?
The problem with the police division in Nigeria, like I said, is like the head of the Hydra. Is Hydra headed? You have to consider the input of the military in the affairs of the police. One of the reasons why the police division has become so incarcerated, in quotes, in Nigeria, is because of the input of the military. There was a time in this nation when the police division was the best. If you want any thorough investigation, even so many coups that were supposed to happen in this nation have been thwarted by the police. There was a department in the police division called the branch. When MD Yusuf was the Inspector General, it was the one in charge. The branch was the department that was, involved in getting information, all right? And they are so good that not just in Nigeria, other nations, West African nations, East African nations, they've employed the service of Nigerian police to help them, And there's an envy at that time between the military and the police, because a lot of money was going into the police, I mean, getting informations in anywhere.
Intelligence
gathering is very expensive. So a lot of money was going to the police division. They're actually working. But when Murtala Mohammed was killed, that was when the military came up and said, they blame it on the police, that they didn't give them enough information. And MD Yusuf then said that they gave them 3 solid, information that so thing. They actually gave them the exact date that so is going to happen. But the military ignored it. But eventually, the military blamed it on the police. And at that time, when the new head of state came in, they took away the branch, which is intelligence gathering
from the
police, and gave it to the military. That's we have the GSS, we have the NSA, you have others.
Primarily, whose role it is to gather intelligence for the country?
Primarily, it is for the police. When it comes to gathering intelligence, it is for the police. And the police feeds other, security,
military and paramilitary agencies.
They feed them. But they've taken that away from the police. And since then, we have never gotten it.
That's the source of the problems?
That is the source that's the source. And when you take intelligence gathering from the police, you take a lot of money from the police, all right? And so that's where the police, activities got dropped in this nation.
Oh, now, if I may ask you, what best practices can Nigeria adopt to improve police pensions and salary structure sustainability?
I think what the retired officers asking for is actually right. Take them away, from the contributory
Pension
scheme, okay? Because if you are not doing it for the senior officers, then you have to remove also from the junior officers, and their pension and gratuity has to be looked into. I think police division is the only place where they get that mega amount. A woman was saying again yesterday, I listened to, that she retired as an inspector. So after serving for 35 years, got a gratuity 2 years after, that's 1.2 million. 1.2 million. And now she's getting, I think, he said 18,000 naira every month as pension. That is horrible. So she even regrets ever joining
the
police. The other person was saying he regretted being, a sincere and honest police officer. So some of his friends, that were very corrupt, they are doing fine even after retirement. You need to look at these people that were protesting and you ask yourself, are these people, have they once served in the police? Because they are not looking it.
In what way will this statement made by retired police officers instigate current 7 police officers to actually do the right thing or do the wrong thing? Will they ever be instigated in one way or the other?
You don't need to, from the way things are now, I don't think that the present police officers need anybody to either instigate or incite them. They themselves are seeing what is happening, and that is why I believe the government must step in. They must step in, because if they don't step in, we're still going to have a more corrupt police officers in this nation. How many cases of before the NSAS, it's after the NSAS is stopped, but I was told it's coming up again. Any young guy that is putting on dreadlock, the police will arrest.
Phones.
You are carrying a bag, they stop you, and there's the instance when the police officer will take these guys to ATM to transfer money or from their phones. And at the end of the day, nothing will actually come out of it.
Now, before we go, Doctor, let me ask you this question. What are the dangers attached or related to neglecting retired police officers? Are there dangers involved for the government and for the people?
Yes, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous because they are retired police officers. They've been trained how to combat criminality in Nigeria. So when they are pressed, they can use the knowledge to enhance criminality in the society. That is one. Number two, when you neglect the retired police officer, you are sending a signal to the serving police officers that do whatever you can do now, because once you retired, you are not catered for. All right. So those are the two instances. Somebody that was trained, on how to handle gun, how to shoot and things like that, now retired. Do you think that the knowledge will disappear? So if he's pressed and he gets hold of a gun, all right, it can be a good criminal. It can be a good criminal.
Very quickly before we go to round off on this segment of the show this morning. Now, your honest assessment and your honest opinion about the current situation. Do you think change is near for the retired police officers and, of course, 7 police officers in the country?
Yes, I would say that, because the body language of the president, President Tinubu, is always positive when it comes to police. In fact, he was saying that he wants to restructure the police
system.
Yes, he said he wants to the system. And with that, we're hoping that, with this protest going on now, maybe the presidency will do something. So we're hopeful that he will do something about it, because he himself knew that, the system is rotten. That's why he said he's going to restructure, but has not done it. But with protests like this, and with somebody like Showore heading it, even though I was told he was beaten up yesterday, but that's okay. All right. I believe that there is hope. The government will do something.
All right, Dr. Okunle Okola, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much.
Our time is fast spent, but I know we still have a lot to discuss.
Yes,
maybe sometimes in the future. We'll talk more about how well this protest has affected the well-being and welfareism of police officers in the country. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, as the voices of retired police officers echo through the gates of Nigeria's police headquarters, one message is clear: dignity in retirement is a right, not a privilege. If we must fix the fuss, we must start by honoring those who built it and ensuring that those in active service have hope for a better tomorrow. That's it on this edition of The Big Story on Daybreak Live. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to spotlight the truth that matter and amplify voices that demand change. I'm Samson Balogun. Stay involved, informed, and engaged, and stay with Dominion Television.